Hey, I'm Mylan Smith with the Kookville podcast, and I'm sitting here with Joe Byers. And what we're going to do is just talk a little bit about Kookville, the state of Kookville, and then usually what we do is we just kind of wander on and talk about whatever interests us. We want to start off with some really good news. Kookville, we got the first two episodes out. It's been accepted through Film Hub, and now we have Amazon Prime Video has licensed it and actually put it up. We also have something else called Popsy on Plex. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but they're also going to be licensing Kookville. So
I think Flex might be something kind of like Pluto, kind of like a server streaming service.
okay, okay,
Popsy's probably a channel on Plex. That's what my guess is.
okay. Yeah, you know what? That sounds about right. I don't really have a lot of these other channels. I've got, you know, I got Tubi, I've got Netflix, and that's about it. I probably should expand my range. I guess these things are on regular cable, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because I'm not on regular cable here at the house, so I'm not sure where they are.
Okay,
But if you want it, you'll find it.
great. Okay. Well, fantastic. We still have 8 more episodes that we have shot in their various stages of being edited, and we're trying to get those done. They're going to, we have another one that's ready to go, but we're going to try to get 2 or 3 more, try to send it out all at one time. So hopefully within the next couple of weeks, we'll be able to do that. But won't be all of them. Hopefully we'll get at least a few because we're hoping to do a second season. Our hope is to start shooting a second season in January.
Why don't you tell folks what the status of the second season is right now?
Sure. Well, we've written 10 more episodes. Joe and I are actually going over the episodes, just double checking to make sure everything works the way we want them to. And then I'm thinking, Joe, that maybe starting in August, we'll start contacting everybody and start ramping up to get everything going.
Seems about right. And our projected shoot date or dates roughly are what, January of next year?
January to March, maybe into April, depending. My thought was we do the first 5 episodes, maybe 6, depending on how we're feeling, but definitely the first 5. And then we live in Pensacola, Florida. It gets really, really hot. So anything that's outdoors would be kind of difficult around here. My thought was we wait until the fall or early of the next year and shoot the rest.
What folks may or may not realize is that once you shoot an episode and you're done with the shooting, you're not quite done with the shooting because there are incidentals that you have to pick up. A shot here, a cutaway there, a driving shot that we needed that we forgot to get. So it may actually go on into next summer, but primarily it'll be done by March or April.
Yeah. Yeah. My hope is to get the first 5 done at minimum and then knock out the rest in the fall if possible. I really want to pick up the pace of how we're putting these things out. Right now, it's been taking us a lot longer than I was hoping for.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I was going to say, what can folks expect to see in the second season? Any new characters? Is it pretty much the same characters in different situations? What's going on? You're the one writing them, so you would know. Let's hope.
Yes. So it's expanding on the main characters that we already have, which is the Skunk Ape Boys, Minnie, Jerome Hosquatch, who is our director, and let's see, who else do we have? We have Doris, we have Suzalyn, and then Evelyn Sinclair. Those are the main characters, but we have a lot of and of course Susanna Springer, who is Dominic's nemesis. Dominic O'Connor is the main character. Very quickly, Dominic was a reporter, comes down from Atlanta after screwing up and sort of exiled to this little newspaper in West Florida. And all of these people most of them are a little bit weird and drive him crazy. And he keeps meeting a whole lot of new people that are basically off kilter.
Yes.
One of the things I'm trying to do is create an entire town. So it's not just a few characters. It's like everybody in town. So he goes around, meets people in different places in town, and it gets a little bit overwhelmed, tormented even by a lot of them. But I'm trying to create the entire town to some degree. Not an easy thing to do.
If folks don't know, the name of the town is Plainville, Florida, but because it's wacky, the locals refer to it as Kookville, hence the title of the show.
Right, exactly. So that's what we're hoping to do, knock out the second season, but I'm really trying hard to get the first season out before we start shooting the second season, because it's going to be very hard to be worrying about one while we're dealing with the other.
Yes.
So, but that's where we're at the moment. One of the issues, some of the things we have to do as an independent, we find locations to shoot in. Sometimes we'll have to find new actors. One of the biggest problems we had was finding actors. We were going through it, and we had very few people on our cast. I'm sorry, on our crew. It was mainly we had a shooter, and we had Stephanie, who did a lot of BTS for us.
Behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes shooting.
BTS, behind the scenes shooting.
Yeah, she did a lot for us. She also shot a featurette for us on the dance scene for the Day of Silence. Then we had a couple of other people who would, PAs or audio people. So we really had maybe 4 or 5 tops, which is very, very small. And yet that quite often we had that. We would often have just a shooter, Stephanie, and maybe a PA. That would be it. But when you add in the cast, we had, I think it was 117 people total worked on this.
Involved in the series.
For the first season.
Yes.
Which is a lot more than I thought.
Yeah.
Now, some of these folks were extras in the background, but we do have a lot of people that come and go, even for a small show like ours, which I thought was kind of mind-blowing to know that many people are coming through.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's probably nothing for a big TV show, but, for a little show in a small town like ours, that's a lot of folks.
Especially given that there may be 10 people on set or less, the actors and then the crew and whatnot. You've got producers, you've got 10 people or less, and still we've had, what'd you say, 117?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Quite a bit. We would shoot over, generally, each episode took about 2 weekends. We would aim to go Saturday, Sunday, and then the following Saturday. And then we would use Sunday as a makeup in case we didn't get everything. And almost every single case, we had to use that second Sunday.
Yeah.
One of the issues is we had to actually reshoot entirely because an entire day because we had somebody that was supposed to be in 2 episodes, shot 1 episode with us, withdrew from the project. So we had to reshoot everything that she did, and then do everything from the first episode she was in, and then go on to the second episode.
Which would not be that big of a deal if this was a regular crew like out of Hollywood or New Orleans or Atlanta, and people were getting paid a lot of money. You know, you could just say, well, we need you again, and you're getting paid for that. But for the nature of our shooting, it's a little bit more bare than that. So it's rough when you have to shoot 2 episodes in the amount of time you had allotted to shoot 1 or parts of 2.
Yeah. Yeah. There was also another time where we actually shot a whole section of the pilot on one whole day, and then we lost the location. And then we had to make it up during shooting of episode 2. And that was a long day. So we found a location, but we had to do everything from that one day of shooting from episode 1. And so it was like, what, 12 hours, 14 hours that day?
Yeah. Did we lose 2 days or 1 day when that happened?
It was 1 day. Just the office scenes.
Right.
Because we did a lot of stuff outside of the office. So,
but we had to scramble and find another office.
Yes, which we managed to do. Have to reshoot everything, and I've always tried to keep our shoots down to 10 hours. I know in Hollywood they might work you 16-hour days, day after day after day, and I try not to kill our people. You know, because then it's not fun if you feel like you're in a marathon.
Yeah.
You know? So that was like I think it was the only time we went that long. That we went.
Yeah, I think so.
And I try to avoid that. I don't think there's really a need to be shooting 16-hour days anyway.
No, if you're trying to get a feature-length film done in a month and a half, maybe. But for the way we do things, no.
Right. Exactly.
And we're relying on our actors and other folks. We're relying on their good graces.
That's true.
You know, it's an all volunteer army kind of thing, and you know, there's only so much you can ask people to do when they're not getting any recompense right then for it.
Yeah. Well, we should say, I mean, we're on deferred payments, so when we make money, we'll pay people. But for the short term, I mean, everything is stretched pretty thin.
Yeah.
Very difficult. But that's the current plan for now. We're get season 1 out hopefully in the next few months. Ramp up for season 2, and I'm already casting about ideas for season 3. We hope to do 5 seasons total, about 10 episodes each. That's my long-term hope. If it's going really well, we might add another season, but you know, who knows? With independent projects, everything's complicated. One thing I would say is if you have a chance to do an independent TV show, don't. Unless you have a lot of money, because everything's difficult. You know, one of the things Joe and I were talking about, if you don't have much money, everything takes 3 times as long.
Yeah.
It's very, very difficult. You know, so at least with a movie, you got a clear beginning and clear ending. But with a TV show, you have so many moving parts, so many people coming in for one episode. Some will stay for the second episode. A lot will be switched out, and you know, you end up shooting for a lot longer times. And I think one of the interesting things about season 1 is we constantly had to find new people, new PAs. We never really had a consistent audio guy. A lot of times I was running the audio. Actually, I would make sure it's all set and go.
Oh, that explains what happened.
Ah, right. Funny. I think the only consistent people we had besides Joe and me was Stephanie. Was there anybody else?
Well, of course, all the actors were consistent, but you're talking about.
They were coming and going, but there wasn't like one person like all the way through.
No, just Stephanie and you and me.
Yeah. So we're kind of like, the core of this.
Now, one thing we're setting this up where we were shooting and we're going to shoot, but now we're not shooting except we actually are shooting. You want to talk a little bit about what we're doing with that?
Sure. Good.
Are you waiting on me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was waiting on you. You were waiting on me. Yeah, we are doing some shorts, little shorts that don't exclusively feature the Skunk Ape Boys, but many of them do. They're little shorts. We're shooting them on a camera, a phone camera. They're kind of like down and dirty. They still have production value. I mean, we shoot our master shots or two shots, maybe an OTS or not MCUs, but they are done sort of down and dirty, and we've got a lot of those. And then we have some other ones that Mylan has written that are just little slices of life and Kookville kind of deals. Right. And it's just so that we've got some content to put out that folks might find interesting to watch. And of course, we're doing that while we're trying to edit the first season, and while Mylan's trying to write the second season, we're doing those shorts in the midst of all that. So we are quite busy. Probably from the outside doesn't look like much is happening. I know I have a lot of the actors saying, hey, when's my episode going to come out? But we are working towards that, and we are working towards this other stuff. And that's been a lot of fun shooting the shorts. It's a different kind of feeling from shooting the series. The stakes are maybe not quite as high, but it's still something that you're trying to do your absolute best with.
Sure, definitely. And it also gives us a chance to play with other characters as well. Joe has written several of these, the Skunk Boy Snappers, and I can tell them about it, or you want to tell them what's happening with the Snappers?
You're running with it. I'll let you run with it.
So, Joe and Uncle Dubby are tall tale tellers. And
absolute truth. We only speak the truth. We never lie.
Right. And they tell a lot of really good stories, like fighting with the Moss Man. They have a really nice story about how they get attacked by the Moss Man. Truthful. And they tell this to Dominic. And Dominic, of course, doesn't believe any of it because I would say that Dominic is someone who is discriminating and skeptical, and they would just say he's...
in other words, a punt.
So anyway, the two of them, they work out really well together, and poor Dominic, he's a victim of their tall tales.
All true. Every word of them.
Truthful.
Everything happened as factually presented in our quote tall tales. Everything was just as relayed.
True tales. Okay, that's what we're calling them. True tales. Okay.
True tales of the absurd.
So this coming week, we're going to start putting out these sketches. We did actually a couple of them. A couple of minor ones, but now we're going to start putting them out. Now we've got a bunch in the chamber, and we're going to try to keep writing more. I've got several ready to we have several that are ready to go out, and we have several that we're going to shoot hopefully throughout June. If you've got the time, Joe, and hopefully more through. Maybe not so much July, but in August as we're ramping up for season 2.
Well, as long as we shoot indoors, we're okay.
Yeah.
But we were shooting a lot of them outdoors, which pretty much limits us to the winter months here in Pensacola. It gets extremely hot and extremely humid. And if you don't mind your characters looking like they've had water poured on them, that would be okay. But
We
it
got
isn't pleasant.
we have one of them, one of the snappers. Poor Dominic, he's wearing a red shirt, and he just sweat through it. And we went out early too. What 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning. We were going to try to get it before it got too hot, and it didn't matter. He just sweat through that shirt. And
What month was that? Do you remember? It wasn't even in the summer.
wasn't it
I don't think so. I think it might have been in the fall. But
fall?
what's that?
Must have been early fall, where
Early fall.
late summer, early fall.
Which is pretty much the same as regular summer here. Early fall is pretty much just like the summer, honestly.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a lot of fun to do, but it was very uncomfortable.
So you were mentioning the Moss Man.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the mockumentary?
Well, go ahead.
So we in passing we got to discussing a few things about the Skunk Ape Boys actually doing a documentary, and then Mylan hit on the idea of using the character of the Moss Man, which is a real mythical creature in the state of Florida. But we're going to shoot a mockumentary, and hopefully it will be long enough that it'll be a standalone piece. We're hoping for that thing to run about an hour. And we've got some ideas how to really dress it up and make it look nice.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about the mockumentary and going forward with that. So looking forward to that. We're going to be starting that probably in the next few weeks or the next month. Indoors, of course.
Well, we'll start off doing the indoor shots, definitely, by fall.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Joe and Uncle Dubby, which is played by Jason Privet, and I sat down. We had a long conversation about what to do. We have a general outline of what we're going to do, and hopefully next month we'll start shooting some of the early scenes. And
Yeah.
I'd like to wrap it
Wicked.
up before we start shooting season 2.
Say that again, please.
I'd like to have us wrapped up with the Moss Man, if possible, before we start shooting season 2.
Oh, absolutely. I agree.
So I'd like to have it done, if possible, by Halloween. That may be pushing it, but I think it's doable.
Yeah, it's still pretty warm here for the first half of October, so we'll have to do this. But it's not usually as bad as August, but it's not like where I come from. October is a cool month. It's not, for the most part. It's a hot month, just maybe not quite as hot as August and September, but it's still hot.
Yeah. What we'll do, it's a documentary, and you have certain segments when you do a documentary. And as we get them done, we'll clip them, which means we'll take like 1 minute or 90-second pieces from each of these and put them out for people to see what we're coming up with. And before we put the whole thing out as one whole piece. So that should be a lot of fun.
And one of the things that you and I have been talking about is one thing about shooting something like this is it makes you acutely aware of what else is out there. Like, I watch some pretty bad films, and when I watch a bad film, I look at it and say, okay, this film's bad, but they had to have a pile of cars for a scene in an alley. So they had to get those cars from someplace. So somebody had to get cars and haul them to an alley and set them up.
Yeah.
So even though it might be a low budget film, there's still a lot of effort that's being made on that. And also we're immersed in this this with Kookville, we're immersed in this sitcom world, and it makes you think about sitcoms, about what you like about them, what you don't
Yeah.
like about them. And one of the things that Mylan and I talk about quite a bit is laugh tracks
Yeah.
on on sitcoms. And I don't think either one of us is a big fan, but Mylan seems to be less of a fan than I am.
I'm a hater.
You hate them, and I find that a laugh track on something that's funny is 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 okay for me. It lends itself while I'm laughing, but I have a real problem with people just slapping a laugh track onto something that's not very well written and it's not funny. And it's almost like they're standing over you with a cudgel saying, "This is funny, you will laugh," even though the stuff very often is not funny to me. And the problem was when it's not funny, the laugh track really sticks out. It's kind of an abomination.
Yeah.
And for you, it's just an abomination no matter what, huh?
Yeah. I cringe. Whenever I hear a laugh track, I cringe. Even, the old classic TV shows from the 80s, like Cheers, you know, uh, or even Seinfeld. I hear a laugh track and it makes my skin crawl. And I just can't listen to it anymore. These are things that I absolutely hate them. Of course, a lot of times what happens is the writers will get lazy. They'll just figure whatever, just throw something out there, throw a laugh track over it, and people will love it. Um,
And that's where I have a problem with it. Again, the laugh track in and of itself doesn't bother me. It's the laugh track that seems to be stapled onto something that's not particularly funny.
right. I don't know.
Well, how do you feel about like those old TV shows like All in the Family that were shot in front of a live TV audience, and those guys are laughing?
Yeah, here's the thing. It's a little easier when it's in front of a live audience, but I still don't like it. And one of the interesting things is usually what they'll do is they'll do it in front of a live audience, and if they weren't laughing enough, they'll sweeten it with the laugh tracks.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm aware of that. I was just trying to get you on a technicality in case this goes to court.
I just still don't like them. Plus, the other thing is I don't like shows that are stuck in one room. My feeling is with TV, you can go out into the world. I mean, like, look, when it comes to a play, you're kind of limited in what you can do. So a lot of plays will all be in one room. I get that. With a sitcom, there's no reason you can't get out in the world. They just chose not to do it because it was cheaper and easier. This is one of the things I like. Like in the early seasons of Community, for example, they would actually get out on the quad. Even in later seasons, they would actually get out of the library room where they had the study room. They would actually get out into the real world, and I like that. I like seeing them, I like seeing people in the real world. To me, it's a lot more interesting. Now, of course, you've got other shows I really like Superstore. They are Superstore was mostly in one store, but they still went out in the real world. They were being in people's houses or on the street. And of course, the store was pretty big. I mean, they had so many different parts of the store that they could go to. So I didn't have a problem with that so much.
You're a big The Office fan, right?
I am.
And they stayed mainly in the office, didn't they?
They did. They did sometimes go outside. The one major difference with that is it was an office. It's not just called The Office, but it was about office life. And so it's a little easier for me to accept that because you're in the office. I mean, where are you going to go?
Right.
But they still outside. They were sometimes in the parking lot. Michael Scott, one time they were in a condo because he was going to buy a condo. Another time they were at what's his name's house, Jim's house. They went to a party at Jim's house. So they did get out of the office sometimes, but yeah, it was much more localized. But again, it was an office, a story about an office. So I can understand that.
So you're willing to give them a pass?
Yeah, like I said, they still get out of there, but because it was based on the tedium of being in an office, you pretty much had to stay there.
True.
Yeah, but they did. Think about that one episode where they went to the bar and they did the Dundee Awards. So they did get out. So it wasn't like all one room either. They had a pretty big office. They had Michael's personal office. They had the warehouse. So they got around. It was pretty good. So
I know we're getting close to time.
Yeah.
But I definitely wanted to say hi to our fans in the Congo. However many there are, there's a few. So I wanted to say hello and thank you for watching.
Yes. Also, we wanted to talk about Nigeria. We don't have a huge reach at this point. Maybe it'll get wider, but we do have some people watching us in Nigeria. Almost 5% of the people watching are from Nigeria. So I want to say hello to Nigeria. For those of you who don't know, Nigeria also has a very active film industry over there. In fact, Nigeria is sometimes called Nollywood, with an N. I've only seen a few of their movies. I do intend to try to watch a lot more in the future because they're putting out some really good stuff out there. There's this one movie, I wish I could remember the name, for those of you who've seen it over in Nigeria. A bunch of prisoners were being taken from one location to another, and then the van gets stuck, and all the prisoners and the guards start getting killed. This is in the middle of the night. If you know it, please let us know the name of it. I'm sorry I can't remember. I feel bad about that, but Nollywood is going really strong, and thank you to Nigeria for watching this podcast. And I hope you get a chance to watch the TV show. Again, if you have Amazon Prime Video, it's already there, the first 2 episodes. Please watch it and let us know what you think. All right. Any last words, Joe?
I have nothing.
Fantastic. Look, thank you, everybody who's tuning into this. We hope to see you all again. And hopefully in a few weeks, we'll do another one of these. And by the
Nigeria, Congo, see you soon.
Yeah, and this is number 5, by the way. This is our 5th. One of the things we agreed on is we're going to do at least 10. And the reason why is 92% of people who do podcasts quit before they get to the 10th episode. So we are halfway there.
Plus, we don't want to disappoint our Congolese friends.
Or Nigerian friends. Okay. Well, thank you very much, and we'll talk to you soon.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.